Hi. So here we are. If you read the README file, you'll see that we're in plugins folder, and we've got our TNT dormer file sitting here, and we have our TNT folder. Fine. Let's close that. Next thing we want to do is go to View, Toolbars, and we're going to get our dormer icon, and we'll just place it there. And now we're going to use it, but before we do, we first of all have to create a roof. Alright, so let's create a roof. I'm going to use my truss Ruby, so I'm going to go to truss, and I'm going to go with a 2x4 truss. I'm going to make as heavy timber, so I'm going to make that 6. I'm going to get a 12 by 12 pitch. I'm going to space my heavy timbers, say, at 5 feet on centers, and more or less leave everything right now. I'm going to choose a half a truss, so let's go and click there and follow the instructions. Go there, across for the width, and here, and there I have my truss. So now we're ready to use the dormer script. So let's first look at what we have to do. Dormer uses a two-stage process. First thing, we have to cut a hole in the roof, and then we place our dormer. That's the way the script is set up. So we're actually running it twice. So in order to cut the roof here, we really would like to go in X-ray mode so I can see where I'm doing some cutting. So let's go to my dormer script, and the first thing it says in this two-stage process, stage 1 is to cut the opening. And it asks me to pick an editable roof plane. Okay, well, this particular roof plane is not editable right now, see, because it's grouped. So I right click and I'm going to edit this group. So now I'm inside this group. So now I can go and cut my roof opening. Now it's important that when you're cutting the roof opening that you know something about the thickness of the roof, otherwise you are not going to get an opening. I assumed that my roof thickness was going to be 6 inches. I have a substantial amount of distance between these heavy timber trusses, so I assumed maybe 4 inches of decking and 2 inches of insulation, and so you have to specify your roof thickness before you do cutting. That's all I have to do right now. So I go like this and pick an edge, go across, and there is my opening. Alright, so now what else can I do here? Well, I just arbitrarily created an opening here. It has nothing to do with anything right now because there's a lot of other things that dormers do. They have roofs. You might want to line these dormers up with existing conditions. So the best thing is to do a bit of experimenting. So one thing I can do, of course, since I have this opening already, I can move this down wherever I want to. I can make this twice as wide, although I would like to keep it within the structural members at the present time. And let's just, for argument purpose, say that we now want to add a gable roof. And let's make that gable roof, say, give it a pitch of 10, a wall thickness of 6. We've done our opening cutting, and we're going to have a 1 foot overhang, so we'll go OK and just take those elements. And there we are. Okay, we've got a nice dormer, and we can see, well, let's say for argument purposes that we want this dormer to line up with the existing ridge here of this roof. Well, so I'm going to have to do some changes to the opening, obviously, and reinstall that dormer. So the first thing I can do is I can take a physical measurement here. It's 2 feet 1/2 inch. That's how far the opening of my dormer has to move up if I want that ridge to be in line with the existing roof ridge. Okay, so let's just go Control Z, get rid of our dormer, and move this up 2 feet. I'm watching my VBO, 2 feet, half an inch, is what I said? Yes, okay. Oops. Down a half. Can I go down a half? Okay, let's leave it there. And let's go and install our dormer one more time. And there we see we have a dormer now that lines up with the top of the roof. Now I've added a few things here. For example, you might not want the eave enclosed like that. Well, that's a block. That can be taken out. That can be taken out. You can change things. I can take my window tools and I can now put some glass in there. Further, if I want to, I can take this element here, open it up, take this face, give it a roof overhang, say. Note I just did the one half of that. I can again pull this out, create a gutter, use my offset to create a gutter. Say we want the offset to be 1 inch, and then pull that down. There we go. So as you can see, you can do a lot of additional things with this dormer once you have the basic shape in place.